By 2:25, the sides of the mob swells in the crypt, the room right under the Capitol Rotunda, and violent rioters crush the police. At the same time, on the floor above, another lone Capitol police officer fights to keep an entrance to the rotunda closed, but is overpowered by the mob. Rioters gather near the House chamber entrance.
Well, we came this far. What do you say? Drag them out!
Rioters flood the hallways and look for an entrance to the barricaded House chamber, while members of Congress remain on the floor and in the gallery one floor above.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda, and we're being instructed to each of us get a gas mask.
Over the next few minutes, security attempts to block the chamber doors.
They were actually pounding on the House door, so we knew that they were there.
Plainclothes law enforcement officers on the House floor draw their firearms and aim towards the doors as rioters break windows and push against the barricade. Lawmakers and congressional staff are evacuating via the Speaker's lobby at 2:41, just as rioters reach the lobby and come within approximately 60 feet of the lawmakers.
We don't want to hurt them. We just want to go inside. We just want to go inside.
Some representatives remain in the House gallery.
I called my wife. And as soon as I heard her voice, I realized, oh man, am I having that call?
I want you to go home.
Officers move aside as a tactical unit is arriving, but the mob starts smashing the windows with flagpoles and helmets. In the House chamber, members crouch in the upstairs gallery. They are unable to leave, locked in by the Capitol Police to prevent rioters from entering.
There's a gun! Hey, he's got a gun! He's got a gun!
Ashli Babbitt, a Trump supporter and Air Force veteran, tries to climb through the shattered door window. An officer fires a single shot. The shot was audible inside the House chamber, where members are soon concerned their lapel pins might identify them.
Yeah. The fuck?
Take your pins off.
Pins off.
So we are learning more about the woman who died today after being shot in those protests in Capitol Hill. Correspondent Jeff Paul has the latest on that part of the story for us tonight. Good evening, Jeff.
Yeah, good evening, Shannon. The investigation into the shooting is still in its early stages, but here's what we know so far. The shooting happened after 3 p.m. today inside the Capitol as pro-Trump supporters stormed the building. There is video that appears to show the incident where it shows a crowd of people inside the Capitol yelling. There's seemingly some confusion and chaos, and then you hear a shot fired off. Now, a witness who recorded one of the videos spoke with Fox News a short time ago. Here's how he's describing the scene.
She didn't say anything. She hit the ground, and that's when I was filming, and I stopped filming. That's why my videos are split in two, because I had to shine a flashlight on her to see if we could stop the bleeding, and we put our hands on her neck to try and stop it, and we just watched her eyes go wide, and there was nothing we could do.
What is unclear is specifically where the shooting took place inside the building. Shannon?
Video captures the moment she fell to the ground during the chaos.
He's got a gun!
As others warned of the danger.
I do remember yelling guns when I saw guns and trying to warn her from going in.
Inside the House chamber,
They broke the glass.
lawmakers were hiding, including Congressman Markwayne Mullin, who is defending the officer's actions.
He didn't have a choice at that time. The mob was going to come through the door. There was a lot of members and staff that were in danger at the time.
It was one of the most horrific moments of a violent afternoon. Rioter Ashli Babbitt tried to climb through a shattered door window by the Speaker's lobby of the Capitol on January 6th. The doorway barricaded by chairs and guarded by police.
Not long after this photo was taken of Babbitt at the rally, she marched to the U.S. Capitol where Congress was certifying the 2020 election results. There, unarmed and still wearing the Trump cape, she started to climb through a broken window and was shot dead by a plainclothes Capitol Police lieutenant.
He's shooting an unarmed individual who is not assaulting him or threatening him. Ashli Babbitt is part of that crowd. Then you can see some individuals, they do get physical. They start to hit the door, break some of the windows. And that point, one of the side windows to the door is knocked out.
Guys,
It's at this point that Ashli gets up onto the ledge and she is shot before she even steps off the ledge. At the time that this officer shoots, there's no member of Congress in that lot.
We tore through the scaffolding through flashbangs and tear gas and blitzed our way in. We had stormed into the chambers inside, and there was a young lady who rushed through the windows. A number of police and Secret Service were saying, get back, get down, get out of the way. She didn't heed the call, and as we kind of raced up to grab people and pull them back, they shot her in the neck right there. I'm not injured. It could have been me, but she went in first. It was one of us. This cannot stand anymore. This is wrong. They don't represent anyone. Not Republican, Democrat, Independent, nobody. And now they'll kill people.
Who are you saying will kill people?
I don't police.
William Lajeunesse has more. William?
Police killed 34-year-old Ashli Babbitt, a Trump supporter from San Diego, inside a house hallway.
It could have been me, but she went in first. It was one of us. This cannot stand anymore. This is wrong. They don't represent anyone. Not Republican, Democrat, Independent, nobody. And now they'll kill people.
Police say a second woman who died is from Georgia that was crushed to death by the crowd. 2 others died as well of medical emergencies. Dana?
In the footage, which we're not going to show you because it's too upsetting, but you can find it on the internet, the woman is standing in a hallway right off the House floor at the center of the Capitol building. She appears to be in her 20s. She's got an American flag tied around her neck. The scene around her is chaotic. People are bumping into each other, yelling, trying to get through the door into the Senate chamber. Suddenly, with no warning, there is gunfire. You hear a shot, and the woman falls. She's been hit with a bullet. Seems like the neck could be the chest. Apparently it was fired by someone in law enforcement. We don't know anything about her, but she did not look particularly radical. She bore no resemblance to the angry children we have seen again and again wrecking our cities. Pasty, entitled nihilists dressed in black, setting fires, spray painting slogans on statues. She didn't look like that. The woman in the Capitol hallway looked pretty much like everyone else.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia and the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice announced there will be no criminal charges against the U.S. Capitol Police officer who fatally shot Babbitt. Multiple agencies reviewed video evidence, physical evidence, statements by officers and witnesses, as well as the autopsy results. The investigation revealed that Babbitt joined a crowd of people on Capitol grounds to protest the results of the 2020 presidential election. The Department of Justice says the investigation further determined that Ms. Babbitt was among a mob of people that entered the Capitol building and gained access to a hallway outside Speaker's lobby, which leads to the chamber of the U.S. House of Representatives.
They determined the officer could reasonably believe it was necessary to shoot Babbitt in defense of those evacuating the House chamber.
Now, you'd think a police officer shooting an unarmed woman would prompt some calls for transparency, whether you agree with her politics or not, but it hasn't. We have no idea why precisely he felt the need to shoot Ashli Babbitt. There was an investigation. Apparently, we haven't seen it.
All the officer had to do was step forward, establish his presence, give her verbal warnings, and if she didn't comply and he had grounds to arrest her. But instead, he shot her. You don't use deadly force unless you are confronted with a threat to your life or the threat on somebody else's life. And there was no immediate threat to the officer or to anyone else.
The people who's followed this the most closely, whose stories have been fact-based since the very beginning, in contrast to virtually everyone else. And she joins us tonight to assess what we've just learned. Julie, thanks so much for coming on. What have we learned here?
Well, we have learned that yet another narrative related to January 6th has completely collapsed. As we've seen time and time again, whether it's the idea of a deadly armed insurrection, whether it was sedition, all of these things that we were told early on, every single one of those storylines has fallen apart. Tens of millions of Americans already believe this. It doesn't matter. The facts don't matter. But we're trying our best to tell people exactly what the truth is.
But they lied about every one of these. Thank you for your honest and fact-based coverage of this. It's really needed. I wish you worked at the New York Times.